Hi guys, I'm Jim and this is Jim's Fix-It Shop, and hey, do you notice anything different? That's right, I've got a can tonight, no bottles. What can I say? I've had a lot of comments on my snapper won't stay running. I get on it, I push the clutch in. Now these are newer models, mine does not have this issue. I push the clutch in, I start it, and as soon as I let the clutch out, the engine quits. You have a safety switch problem, and I do not have my boss's machine in front of me anymore, so I'm just kind of shooting off the hip here, and I've got some diagrams I can show you on what you want to look for, and I'll show you on my model where it is you want to find it. The last one that wrote in was I put a new clutch on my snapper, and now when I try to start it and I let the clutch out, the engine quits. Well, it's just by coincidence the switch malfunctioned on you, or when you were doing this you might have bumped the wires because the switch is right back in there. I'm gonna show you the description of the switch from Parts Tree is $10.17. It is called an OPC switch, which is a operator's presence control switch. It's a double switch. It'll have 4 wires going to it. One side is normally open, one side is normally closed. The difference between a normally open and closed switch is, let's say the switch in your seat is a normally open switch. So when you sit on the seat, you're closing the contacts and the machine will run. If you get up off the seat, the contacts open and it kills the engine. That is normally open, if I can talk right. Normally closed is the opposite way. When the switch is not activated, the contacts are touching. When you push your clutch in, it opens the contacts. Why they got that wired in there like that, I would have to see the machine and actually trace the wiring, because the wiring diagram they gave me is not that clear. So the switch you're looking for is right here on this diagram. It's number 16. It's going to be probably, if I remember right, his was black in color. It had 4 wires going to it, and it was kind of square. It shows the bracket in this diagram, if I can see it too. Where'd it go? Bracket is right here that holds that switch, and it mounts back in here. And let me spin this camera around, and I'll show you where this switch mounts. You're going to have to stand your machine up. If you unplug, I don't know it doesn't show on these diagrams if the plug that plugs onto the switch is one piece with all 4 wires. If it's separate pieces, you can pull off the front 2. I usually bend up a paper clip and stick it in the plug with the wires on it. Set your machine back down, try to start it. If it starts and runs, cut the wires and twist them together. If you have small kids and you want this to work, I suggest ordering a new switch for 10 bucks, if that's the bad one. You want to check it with a meter. This is the meter I use. It's a digital meter. You just turn it on, the ohm setting. That's this little, let me get it up here. That's this funny little symbol right there. It looks like an upside down U. When you touch these 2 probes together, it's supposed to make a noise. Maybe my battery is dead because it's not making any noise. There we go. When you touch these. Now, if you don't have a meter and you want to buy one, let me find this picture. Put you on hold. Okay, this is what they call an analog meter. It has a needle on it. This is a digital. These are $140. These you can buy, and Lord help me for saying this, you can buy these at Harbor Freight. That even tasted bad coming out. And they're about $7. It will work the same. You set it on the ohm setting, which is that funny little U, upside down U. The cheaper ones won't buzz. What happens when you touch your electrodes together, this needle will go all the way over to the other side, telling you you have contact. Test it first by just touching these, then test your switches. You want to check the switch in your seat just to make sure that does work. But from what people are telling me, unless you're getting up off your seat while you let the clutch out, that's not the problem. The problem has got to be the OPT switch that's inside your rear case. Now I will spin you around and show you where it's mounted so you know what to look for. Okay, now we're over here. If I can see and try to show you at the same time, you can see back here, this is your yoke right here. And this is the arm coming off the back of the yoke that the spring hooks to. Now that switch is going to be mounted right back here on the bottom side of this case. So when you push your clutch in, when this arm comes up right here on this yoke, it's going to engage that switch. That's the bad switch, I believe, right there. Now I hope this helped you out. Now when you take the wires off that switch, it should be, by the way it looks, it snaps in and out. I don't know if you can see this picture very good. On the side of that switch, it'll have little plastic fingers that you push in, and it'll pop out of that square hole in the metal bracket. It'll be easier to test if you take it out and have it on the bench. But when you put your electrodes on the back of the switch where the wires were hooked, right away one should buzz. And when you put your wires on the other two contacts, it will buzz when you push the button in. And then when you go back, it won't buzz until you let the button out. If it acts like that, then that switch is okay. It could be, well, it could be another part which it's a lot more pricey, and you don't want that one to be bad. Let me see if I can find a picture of it. Okay, this is the other part that it could be, but number 6, they're $43.70. You don't want that to be bad, but that's it right there, right here. This is the interlock module that all the wiring goes through, and once that thing goes haywire, none of the switches will work. If that was bad, I don't know if the engine would even turn over. But if you're like me, I have no kids, I have no grandkids around. When I'm mowing, my grandkids do not use my tractors. I disconnect all that stuff. You can just rip all that stuff right out and wire it up the old way, so when you turn the switch, it engages the solenoid which will engage the starter and the tractor will start. When you shut the switch off, it grounds out the coil and it kills the engine. Pretty basic. I mean, that's the way they've always worked. Why throw a wrench in the works now, you know? They've got to make it more complicated, I guess. So give that a try. I don't know what else to tell you. I wish I could come over and help you, but who knows? See what you can come up with. Stand that thing up, pull that switch out and check it. I'm 90% sure that's the problem you're having with your machine. I don't know what to tell you. I know that's not a lot of help, sorry. But if you have any questions or comments, put them in that little box below. And I guess work safe, have fun, and I hope you get it running. We'll talk to you soon.